All right, in the last video, I talked about how you can actually select subparts of a vector shape in order to manipulate it. So, I went into here and I could use the white arrow, the direct selection arrow to highlight an anchor point and move it around to modify my shape. We talked about how if it has a curve associated, you get back you can use the direct selection to play around with the Bezier handles to adjust the segments or the lines that make up my shape here. Even if we could use the shape tools that we talked about here. So when I have the shape, this shape also has anchor points. So if I were to grab, say, the white arrow, the direct selection arrow. I can highlight an anchor and move it, highlight an anchor and move it, highlight an anchor and move it, something like that. If the anchor has a curve on it, like a circle, it should give you Bezier handles. And I can play around with those Bezier handles just like we did in exercise 12. If I want to break them, I'm going to hold down the Option or the Alt key when I do this, and it allows me to break it. Okay. Oops. Okay, option click. All right, so you can see how you can start with a basic shape that we make and then use, the direct selection arrow to modify it by moving around anchors. You can also add anchors to an existing shape. So what I'm going to do is I think for this, you have to have the advanced toolbar working in Illustrator. So you'd have to go to Window, Toolbars, and make sure Advanced is selected. I'm going to go 5 down to something called the Pen tool. We're going to learn more about the Pen tool later inside of Adobe After Effects. The Pen tool can be used to make is used to make what's the word? Custom vector paths. We're not going to really do that in today, but you could. And what I'm going to do is click and hold on the pen tool. I'm going to go to where it says Add Anchor Tool or Anchor Point Tool. What this allows me to do is if I click on my path here, my stroke, so this is the path, I'm going to click on it. And when I click on it, I add that anchor. Or I can click and I add that anchor. Now that I've added it, I can use the direct selection arrow to highlight and drag, highlight and drag. Okay, so by adding these anchor points here, I can then select them and adjust my general vector shape. Okay. In addition to adding anchors to a shape, you can also remove or delete anchor points. If you click and hold on this tool, there's a delete anchor point tool. And what this allows me to do is if you take your cursor and put it on top of an existing anchor, you can delete it from your shape. You have to have a minimum of 3 because it has to be a closed shape. It has to have at least 3 points because that would form a triangle, but you can remove it. So for instance, if I came in here with my delete anchor point tool, you can see I'm removing anchor points, which is simplifying my shape. All right, finally, when you have anchor points, let me show you something. All right, let's say I have 3 anchors, okay? When you have 3 anchors, I could have linear lines like this. I'm going to try to make this as linear. So it's like this is anchor, anchor A, anchor B, anchor C, and it's like each of these is a direct line, straight line, right? These are linear lines. I can also have these 3 points, and rather than each of these being a linear line, I could have a curved line like this. So it's the same number of anchors, A, B, and C. It's just that rather than these being straight linear lines, these are curved lines. Okay. You can also do it where one line is linear and the other is curved, or it could be curved and then linear. That would also be acceptable. Okay. So sometimes when I give you shapes, these shapes, they are these are all linear lines. Linear, 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 linear. If you want to go from linear lines to curved lines, what you could do is click and hold and use what's called the anchor point tool. And if you click on this and hold, you can actually drag out Bezier handles. Remember, Bezier handles are what create or control curves. So by doing that, now I have these Bezier handles in which I can kind of play around with curvature. Once again, to break these so that they're not always opposite of one another, I can use Option or Alt and break it like that. Another way to do this is to highlight the anchor and under Convert in your Properties panel, click where it says Convert selected anchor points to smooth. You can see that that would also give me Bezier handles as such. So you can highlight an anchor point and convert it to smooth, which would essentially, give it curved, make it curved lines instead of linear lines. You could, if you wanted it to have one curved line and one linear, what you could do is if they're broken, you could drag this all the way in. This is a linear line, the curved line, linear line, the curved line. You can also take curved lines and make them linear. The way you would do that is by clicking once instead of clicking and dragging. That turns these from curved lines into linear lines. Okay, so the convert anchor point or using the convert tool here would make linear lines into curved lines, or if you have the anchor between them highlighted, you could turn this back into linear lines or a corner point. All right. All right. I want you guys to try that out. That was exercise 14, 15, and 16, please.